Hello, my name is Gerhild. I'm part of the staff team at Above Bar Church. Thank you for joining me for this devotion. Have you given up anything for Lent this year? I have a confession to make. This question has sometimes irritated me. I've wondered why people are really doing it and what their motives are. But when I read the passage for this devotion, I was reminded that giving something up that we find hard to let go of can be the recognition of the fact that there's something beyond the physical world that we experience, something bigger that we stretch towards. It can also be rooted in a feeling that we'd like to become a better version of ourselves, even though we might be unsure of how this can actually take place in the face of so many failures and disappointments we might have already experienced in our endeavors. So, it is a good question after all, and in our devotion today we will meet someone who gives something up, and then something amazing happens. Let's read the passage together in Luke chapter 7, verses 36 to 50. Who is giving something up, and what happens as a result? Let's read. When one of the Pharisees invited Jesus to have dinner with him, he went to the Pharisee's house and reclined at the table. A woman in that town who lived a sinful life learned that Jesus was eating at the Pharisee's house, so she came there with an alabaster jar of perfume. As she stood behind him, at his feet weeping, she began to wet his feet with her tears. Then she wiped them with her hair, kissed them, and poured perfume on them. When the Pharisee who had invited him saw this, he said to himself, "If this man were a prophet, he would know who is touching him and what kind of woman she is, that she's a sinner." Jesus answered him, "Simon, I have something to tell you." "Tell me, teacher," he said. 2 people owed money to a certain moneylender. One owed him 500 denarii and the other 50. Neither of them had the money to pay him back, so he forgave the debts of both. Now, which of them will love him more? Simon replied, "I suppose the one who had the bigger debt forgiven." "You have judged correctly," Jesus said. Then he turned toward the woman and said to Simon, "Do you see this woman? I came into your house. You did not give me any water for my feet, but she wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You did not give me a kiss, but this woman, from the time I entered, has not stopped kissing my feet. You did not put oil on my head, but she has poured perfume on my feet. Therefore I tell you, her many sins have been forgiven, as her great love has shown. But whoever has been forgiven little, loves little." Then Jesus said to her, "Your sins are forgiven." The other guests began to say among themselves, "Who is this who even forgives sins?" Jesus said to the woman, "Your faith has saved you. Go in peace." So it's Lent, and we have joined a dinner party. And what an interesting dinner party it is. The host, Simon, knows all about religion. He's a Pharisee. And we meet 2 of his guests, Jesus and a woman. Simon wants to check Jesus out and see if he really is a prophet. The other guest we meet seems to have joined without an invitation, and then she behaves in an outrageous way, crying, uncovering her hair, and using it to wipe Jesus' feet as well as kissing them and pouring perfume over them. How embarrassing. Simon probably cringes and certainly concludes that Jesus can't be someone sent by God, or he would have never let this happen. This woman is sinful and everybody in town knows it. Simon is not the one in the story giving anything up at this point. He's holding on to his status, his dignity, his doubts, his preconceived beliefs, and to time-honored custom and tradition. But Simon finds out that Jesus does know his thoughts and doubts after all, as Jesus tells him the story about the moneylenders. It shouldn't be hard for Simon to work out what Jesus is telling him. Simon needs to get off his high horse. Jesus is showing Simon politely by telling him a story that he has given Jesus a half-hearted welcome and is keeping himself covered in every way. The woman, on the other hand, is clearly very sorry for her sins, and she throws all pretense and caution to the wind. She trusts Jesus, and also that he can deal with her sin and forgive her. This makes her give up her pride and show Jesus devotion and love with her unusual behavior. Her reward is huge. Jesus acknowledges her faith and trust in him, her self-forgetfulness and her implied plea for forgiveness. And so he forgives her sins and gives her new life, filled with the peace of God. This makes me wonder what Simon does in the end. Does he finally admit that he is sinful too? Does he understand who Jesus is and what he can do? Does he give up his pride and acknowledge that he needs forgiveness? We are like the other guests at this dinner party today. We are meant to wonder too if Jesus is telling us something. Is Jesus asking you a question right now? What is he saying to you? And how are you going to answer him? I feel that Jesus is asking me to give up something. To give up my pride. And to come to him without any reservation or concern about what people might think about me. I feel that he's asking me to let go of prideful notions such as, I can do it by myself. I don't need help. I know better. I don't want others to see my struggles. I don't want to admit my fault in this. I also feel that I should give up something I'll miss for Lent this year, and I have. This will not earn me any brownie points with God, but it will help me to anchor my dependence on his love and forgiveness in an everyday experience and discipline that I can feel and talk to him about. It will help me to draw closer to God. And I feel Jesus calls me to show him love in unreserved ways. I'm wondering how to respond. By treasuring his word? By praying honestly? By forgiving those who have hurt me? What else is there? As this video stops, I encourage you to take a few moments to read the passage again and to listen to what God is saying to you.